Innerbark Outdoors coverage of SHOT Show 2014 brought to you by Tanner Wright Sports.
Good afternoon, my name is Victor Birdseye, I'm part of Adcor Defense. What we're going to talk about today is the A-556 ELITE, which is the latest and greatest AR-15 platform. There are several innovations on this weapon, innovations that you will not find on any other AR-15 platform. Recently, there was a competition to replace the currently AR-15 platform that's being used by the military. There was 80 entries, there was 4 finalists. This weapon was one of the 4 finalists. Before they had the sequester that shut down the competition, this weapon was currently in the lead. This weapon's been tested by HP White, shot 6,000 rounds without a stoppage, malfunction, or breakage. They buried it in playground sand. This weapon continued to function. They buried this weapon underneath water, and it still continued to function. This weapon is basically one of the best things out there right now. One of the innovations that we're going to talk about first is this forward charging handle. This is a non-reciprocating forward charging handle. That means when you fire this weapon, this charging handle does not go back and forth. It stays in one place in this forward lock position until the shooter needs to use it because of some kind of stoppage or malfunction. All he does is he reaches up there with his left or his right hand, depending on which hand shooter he is, grabs that forward charging handle, pulls it to the rear, and releases it. It comes standard on the right side. However, that's not a problem. In order to change this charging handle to the other side, all I have to do is pull it out, push this little pin, pull the pin out, flip it over, put it in, push the pin, and the weapon's ready for a right hand or a left-handed shooter. Right now it's set up for right. It doesn't require any special tools, doesn't require any special training. It can be done by a team leader or a squad leader or a platoon sergeant or an individual shooter out in the field. Just to make it easy for somebody who's been working an M4, M16, AR-15 platform of any other kind, with the addition of this forward charging handle, that's somebody who's built a lot of muscle memory because they've shot a lot of rounds, dealt with a lot of malfunctions and stoppages. We've also retained the rear charging handle. That way, when everything goes to crap, the guy is relying purely on his training. He can use that muscle memory and continue to engage in the fight. This is the only piston-driven, free-floating barrel gun that comes that way from production. All right? I don't have to take this gun when I buy it and say, decide that I want to increase my accuracy and range by putting a free-floating barrel on it. It comes with a true free-floated barrel already. Pistons up here in the front, which drives everything back here towards the rear. There's no gases that are coming back into your chamber or into your bolt carrier group. Which brings us to the bolt carrier group and bolt carrier tilt. A lot of piston-driven guns and definitely your gas-driven guns suffer from what's called bolt carrier tilt. If you're familiar with the AR-15 platforms and have used them to engage multiple rounds on multiple targets, you'll know that they rise up and to the right, usually after the first round. What the soldier has typically had to do, or the shooter has typically had to do to compensate for that, is after he's fired his first round, he rotates the gun in a clockwise manner, brings it back on target, and fires his second rounds. You teach shooters and soldiers that they can only engage targets as quickly as they can accurately engage those targets. That takes a lot of time, a lot of training. With the removal of the bolt carrier tilt, this weapon no longer needs to worry about that recoil management and bringing it in a circular motion. I can fire 2 rounds in the same place as fast as I can squeeze the trigger and continue to accurately engage the target. That bolt carrier tilt has been removed with the use of a full-length boss that this bolt carrier group rides into. This longer bolt carrier group, you'll notice, is different because it goes all the way forward through these carrying handles. It no longer is this short little section about this long that slides into a gas tube receiver and then operates back and forth. The other thing that has removed the bolt carrier tilt is the fact that these guns are built to aerospace specifications. So instead of having a lot of space back here for this bolt carrier group to move around in, it's built to a much tighter tolerance. If you take apart any other AR-15 platform out here today, you're going to find there's a whole lot greater tolerance that most AR-15 platforms are built for. That gives this bolt room to maneuver around in the chamber. Another feature that's been incorporated in this comes as a negatively charged polymer dust wipe. Basically, this piece of polymer right here slides back and forth with the bolt. It's spring-loaded, so when the bolt's in the forward position, it fills the ejection port, which is what keeps all the sand, dirt, dust, and water out of this bolt carrier dude, reducing wear and increasing consistent accuracy as well as reliability. We also, just for the old school guy who isn't really sure what to do with something new, have retained the original old dust cover. That way when people look at it, it doesn't look like something new. It's the same platform doing the same job.